Hello, guys and dolls. How are you, darlings, doing? I hope you're well. So, I went on a long hike today, me and my son, because he loves exploring and smelling new things, and it's just exciting for him. And it's exciting for me, too. Sorry about that. It's exciting for me, too. I like to hike, but I'm a genius, so I forgot my freaking walking poles, trekking poles, and I should have had them. You do have more stamina with them. My legs are not as likely to be fatigued from the fibro. I've got fibromyalgia for those who don't know. And the trekking poles make a world of difference when I'm hiking with them. They make a world of difference. So, um, so I wanted to talk to you about, and I'm going to be paraphrasing because I don't remember the gist of it. So I don't believe in casual sex just to be screwing people just because it feels good. I don't believe in that. I believe in if you're good enough to do it with, you're good enough to be in a relationship with this person. Now, people are going to do what they want to do, it's their choice. And you could still be used in a relationship. You can still be used for sex because and I'm talking from a woman perspective, some men know that you're not the type to just spread casually. So then they will put on the boyfriend hat, fiance hat, or husband hat to keep getting access. But they're only in it for some people, not everybody, but people that are using other people, which is quite a bit. Both genders are using other people. That's instant gratification type of deal. And I'm not into that. I never was. Um, yeah, they'll put on whatever hat they have to put on in order to get access to your drawers. So you're not necessarily safe if you're in a relationship or married or engaged or whatever. You're still not safe from being used, okay? But I prefer being in a relationship over just spreading for people. Like I said, I'm talking from a woman's perspective. And this is a sensitive topic. I'm not a prude. I do laugh and joke about crazy, sexual jokes. I are hilarious, and I don't get offended usually when I used to be on dating sites and guys were just approaching with their wang in their hand. They'll say all this poetic bullshit on their page, and they don't mean any of it. They're just talking out the left side of their neck because when you actually talk to them, the poetry flies away and the real them comes out. The horn dog comes out. See what I'm saying? So you screen yourself out when you do that with me. You're automatically fired because I don't no I don't roll like that. However, I don't get offended when guys act like a typical dog. A lot of them are typical dogs, but and women. Let's backtrack. And women encourage it. I don't care who gets mad. I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna talk about what people don't talk about, but they're thinking it, but they don't have enough balls to say it. I'm gonna say it. Women are teaching men, encouraging men to objectify them and to use them sexually by fucking them when they first meet them. I'm keeping it real because ain't nobody else gonna tell you this. Okay? You are allowing him to objectify you. You're encouraging it because he don't have no feelings for you. He's not a woman. He don't get emotionally involved. And even when some, not all, when some women swear we could be physical, we ain't got to be in love, we could just have fun. I ain't gonna get my emotions involved. And then her emotions can eventually catch up with her against her will. And now she's in a complicated situation because dude was like, I don't know why you telling me you into me. That wasn't what we agreed to. We agreed to have fun. So it's easy for males to just, and some women, okay, it's easy for some people to just do you millions of times or however many times and cut the cord. Like, okay, that was fun. Bye. Another reason why you shouldn't just be casually screwing people. Now, Some people are encouraging women to have sex, even if you're not in a relationship. And I don't agree with that. And I will not agree with that. If you get used in a marriage, do you honestly think you're not going to get used if you're just screwing to be screwing? You're not that hot. You're not that hot sexually. You're not. You're doing that for validation. You need somebody to think you're awesome for about 10 minutes. And he thinks you're awesome until he pops it off, and then he disconnects from you physically, mentally, and everything else. He's not connected to you just because y'all did something. He's not. He's not. On the rare occasion, and believe me, it's rare, he might catch feelings because he's a sensitive guy anyway. So he's not the type to just be doing you just to be doing you. Rarely, some guys are like that. They're like, yeah, I'm not gonna just do you. I need to at least have coffee with you a couple times, get to know you. Some guys are like that. Most are not, but some are. And I asked myself why sometimes, not a lot, but sometimes my PTSD gets triggered when guys are being a horny pig with me. Sometimes I get triggered. And I mean really hurt and really blown away and pissed off, and the attempt to use me is very offensive. I'm not your sperm trash can. I don't want to be your sperm trash can. I'm just saying. So I asked myself, why was I so sensitive to that? And I think this is the answer. So as you guys know, because I've talked about this before, this isn't easy. Oh my God. This isn't easy to talk about. So as you guys know, at least on 2 different occasions, men have tried to grape me, minus the G, on 2 separate occasions. And I was young. I believe I was a teenager. The first time I was a kid, and I don't remember if I was a preteen or what. And then the second time I was in my later teens, I think. And I'm just ballparking it. Damn, this is hard. Tranquility. Pull it together, girl. So anyway, I not only went to that, I not only experienced that, I had to deal with it by myself. And I think that's almost as bad as what I went through, if not worse, because I did not have a supportive family. My family was violent and abusive and angry and hostile and irrational. Okay. So when I know that as a kid, that yo ass ain't never been supportive, would never be supportive, I also know as a kid to keep my mouth shut. When something terrible happens or something bad happens to me, I know to keep my mouth shut. Because you're not going to be supportive anyway, because you're normally an asshole. So I already know not to go there with you and to tell you, because I'm going to be blamed for it. I've talked about this in other videos. And even though she was a nurse, and I'm sure she's come across patients who were assaulted, because she's off and toxic and irrational, okay? If I were to tell her, it would have been my fault, which I blame myself even when I didn't tell her. Because the second time it happened to a guy that was in one of my classes, my history class. I think it was history. I can't remember. Anyway, um, I would have been blamed for it, which I blame myself anyway. Which you can't do that for women who have been attempt assault and all that. It's not your fault. It is not your fault. One of my guy friends schooled me, okay, because I was basically blaming myself, and I said, he said it's not your fault. I said, yeah, I know, but the day I know, but right, the day that he attempted that, I was, mm, mm, wow. Sorry, give me a minute. I guess I could just roll with it because if you hold back, the dam is going to break. So just let it go. Um, I blame myself because I was dressed nice that day. I had on heels and a skirt and a nice sweater. And normally I was in tomboy mode. I was wrinkled ass shirt with jeans and sneakers, and that was my uniform, so to speak, because I'm a tomboy. And that particular day, I dressed really nice. And so I blame myself. I was dressed nice that day, and my guy friend was like, "You cannot blame yourself. It wasn't a matter of what you were wearing." And for those of you who have been targeted, listen to me very closely. It wasn't what you were wearing. He saw an opportunity and he went for it. Okay? It didn't have nothing to do with your hair was curled real pretty and your makeup was pretty and you had a nice dress on. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It is a crime of opportunity. Okay? It's a crime of opportunity. And power. But a lot of guys who are horn dogs use it as power also because they know that a lot of women get spun in the head because they got rocked real good. So they do some stupid shit. Here's the key to my house. Here's all my passwords. I'm going to buy you a car. I'm going to buy you clothes. I'm going to do for you and do for you and do for you and do for you and do for you because you rocked the hell out of me. Okay, so guys know that. They're not done. Or you fall in love with them and all of that. I told y'all, got to draw a line between physical and emotions because guys do not merge those two together. They do not unless they already have feelings for you. So don't think because y'all did circus tricks in the bed, do not think that that makes that man feel closer to you because he ain't no closer to you than the man on the moon. All right? It's like going to the bathroom. When you take a leak, you don't have a romantic feeling towards the toilet. You do what you got to do. Hopefully wash your hands afterwards. And then you move on. You don't hug the toilet and say, "Oh, that was such a great peek. Thank you so much. Oh, you're so sweet." Okay? You do your thing and you move on. A lot of guys have the same mentality when it comes to sex. They do their thing and they move on. And here you are crying if you got emotional and you got feelings for them. And I love you and I didn't expect to feel all these things. And oxytocin and dopamine are playing with your brain. And, it's just a mess. You thought it was just going to be physical with no feelings. And your brain said, yeah, I got something for you. Try it. See what happens. You're going to catch feelings whether you want to or not. So anyway, guys use it as a power thing. They know it's going to manipulate your brain. They know about the chemical reaction in your head. Some of them know. They know that you're going to get dumb and irrational. Move into my house. I know I've only known you 2 months, but you should move in. Which is stupid. And if you have children, you're putting your children at risk. You don't know if this guy's a pedophile. You think because he's doing you, he can't be attracted to children? You got to be kidding me. He could be thinking about your kids while he's doing you, and that's why he's got a boner. I'm just keeping it real with you. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell you what nobody's going to tell you. Period. So it's used as a power thing. And to me, well, let me say this too, because this is really, really so important, okay? For women who have been assaulted or guys have attempted to assault them, your world is not the same as other people. Your world is not the same as people who've never been in that situation. So they may not understand why you got triggered. Yeah, he looked at your butt. Yeah, he said something sexual. What you tripping for? That's what guys do. You get too serious. Sometimes It hits you wrong and it triggers the PTSD, and you feel hurt, you feel used, you feel like you're being treated like a prostitute because you're being objectified. You shouldn't feel good about being objectified because you as a human being is irrelevant. You don't matter. Your vagina matters. Your body matters. You don't matter. You aren't even part of, you're not even part of the equation. How is that supposed to make somebody feel good? Okay? So my situation, those two traumatic events, and then you have men acting just like them. They're not trying to army. They're not trying to do that, but they're objectifying me nevertheless. So sometimes, not always, sometimes it's a trigger and it hits me wrong. Here I go, being treated like a whore again. Yay. You're not relevant. Your needs, wants, sense of humor, your intellectuality, what you like to do, the fact that you have a creative, you've created crafts with your hands, you've done this, you know, you've done all these cool things in your life, but none of that matters. What about the V? What about your titties? That's the only thing I care about. And I want to squeeze that fat ass of yours. That's the only thing that care. Well, my butt's not fat, and I'm okay with that. Being objectified is not fucking cool. Now, some women are okay. They want to be objectified. They need the validation. Their father wasn't in their life, or their father was abusive, or there's always something in the background that causes women to be promiscuous. It's not just because she's so goddamn hot, she's throbbing 24 hours a day to get something up in there. That ain't it. It's validation. Feeling wanted for however long the session lasts. But you're being used. You're a sperm trash can. That's all you are. Unless the person has feelings for you. Okay? So your world, I'm going to repeat that because it's really deep. When you've been targeted that way, your world is not the same as women who have never been on that page. They have never been targeted. They have never been attacked. No one has physically grabbed them up, which what happened the second time. He grabbed me up and was trying to figure out what to do with me. He was trying to drag me down in the basement of my high school. Anyway, so our world isn't the same. Our world is not the same as someone who's never been through it. So someone who's never been targeted that way would be like, so what? He targeted you, or he looked at your butt, or he whistled at you. Why are you tripping? Why are you so upset about that? 9 times out of 10, I'm not upset about it, but there are times that they approach with their wang in their hand and they're acting like that all over again, and I feel triggered. One of the times I felt triggered was, and I told y'all about this in another video, this fool went out with him. He's the one who admitted later that he tried to grab my boob. When I was walking away from him, I gave him a hug. I don't know why. He's such a dick. I shouldn't have tried to hug him. And he tried to cop a feel. I didn't know he tried to cop a feel, so he made it a point to tell me when I got home. So that's three. Actually, and a police officer grabbed my boob before too. So there have been multiple occasions. I forgot about that. I made a complaint to his officer, his superior sergeant, and I'm sure he addressed him and said, we don't do that, okay? We don't do that. What is wrong with you? They can't control their fucking self. They can't. They fucking can't. So, if men are smart, they would realize that some women are not okay with you coming after them like that. Some women are not okay with that. And they when you look at me, you know I'm different. You know I'm a lady. Look at how I dress. You ain't never seen my body parts hanging out. You never see my butt hanging out like Daisy Dukes. You never see me staring at your package like, I wonder what you working with. Hey, big boy. I'm trying to see if you got a print in your pants. What's up? I never approach anybody like that, and I would appreciate the same respect. So some guys are not going to care that you've been assaulted before. They don't care. They're still going to approach like, yeah, that was back then. That was him. But what about me? Because I want to do the same thing that he's doing, except I just want you to be willingly doing it. But you're no different than that guy because you're still a predator and you're still hunting. Some women have had a past where they have been attacked or they have been assaulted or what grabbed up or whatever it is. So some women are not going to be okay with, hey, how you doing? Some women are not okay with that shit. And if your mother raised you right, or your father, which would be more impactful than a mom, if your father raised you right, he would have taught you that you should have respect for everybody. Don't let your penis control you, and do not use your penis as a weapon. Do not go grabbing people. Do not slip nothing in nobody's drink. You are to respect people. Is that clear? Yes, you have to teach your sons to respect other people, especially the opposite sex or the same sex, whichever you date, whatever you do. They have to be taught. Otherwise, they have no control. If you do not give children parameters and boundaries, they are like a satellite spinning in space. There's nothing to control them, so they do whatever the fuck they want to do. They spin around uncontrollably, and it does whatever the hell it wants to do because there's nothing to guide and direct it. Humans are the same way. So they have to be taught to respect other people, no matter how hot you get, and no matter how big her behind is, or no matter how big her hooters are. It don't matter. You don't approach people like that. It's disrespectful. Disrespectful. Again, those of us who have been targeted, our world is completely different. And there are some things that are going to hit us really hard because that was predatory. And that brings us back to when we were targeted in the past. So not everybody is down for your predatory behavior. Not everybody's okay with that. Not everybody thinks that shit is cute. You need to be mindful. And if you, look here, regardless of your gender, if you're the type of person who, I don't never respect nobody, I just want to get my groove on, you need to be honest enough to tell people that. I can't commit to shit. And I've said this before. I can't commit to shit. But I could give you a hell of a night. Okay? You need to be honest with people and stop lying. I want romance and I want long walks on the beach and I want to grow old with somebody and it's all fucking lies. Lies. Okay? I know one guy was in prison. He couldn't write. No, he was trying to get with this woman, I guess when he gets out or whatever. He couldn't come up with no bullshit on paper, so his cellmate did it. Wrote some poetic bullshit. Didn't even come from him. It came from another guy. Well, we're not surprised somebody in jail is manipulating. Well, shit, that's what they do. It's how they got their ass in there in the first place. So yeah, sometimes it's a trigger because I just ask myself, why do I get so offended by that sometimes? Not all the time. Sometimes I'm laughing and I'm like, you ain't got a snowball's chance to get with me. Get the fuck out of here. And I don't give it a second thought. But there's just sometimes, I don't know what's the contributing factor, but there's sometimes where, oh God, it hits me wrong. And I'm going to tell you straight up, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just going to keep it real. I'm going to be raw with you. Okay. Some of us that we run deeper than your average person. Okay. Things hit us harder. We have more emotions. We have a lot of love for people that we do love. We have a lot of love for them. We're deeper than your average person. When I told you this before, when I saw a sunset and the trees were silhouette in the background and the moon was reflecting off the ocean. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And I remember I was driving from my favorite lake and I was coming around the bend and I saw that and I went, because the beauty just grab me up, that I don't mind being snatched up by. Nature could snatch me up anytime it wants to, as long as I don't get hurt. It literally took my breath away. So we run deeper and we feel things deeper than the average person. So no, so let's go back to Mr. I tried to grab your boob. He so inappropriate, so freaking inappropriate. You don't say this to somebody on his first so-called date. He wasn't dating, he was trying to mate. I saw something in Victoria's Secret that would look good on you. Bitch, I'm not your girlfriend, I'm not your fiance, and I'm not your fucking wife. Why would you say that to somebody you don't even know? I just let it roll over my head. I'm so used to people being stupid and brainless that I just let it roll right over my head. But when I got back to my house, I remember this clearly. I was sitting in my kitchen in front of my refrigerator and I was cleaning it out of stuff that should have been tossed or whatever. I'm just cleaning it out. And without warning, I just started crying. Because he hit my PTSD button. Because again, here's another predator. Here's another poon hound. He has a lot of medical problems, some of which could end his life. I think you better stop worrying about getting between somebody's legs and worry about if you're going to be alive tomorrow. And one of my friends said, well, that's probably why. He knows he's running out of time. He's got cardiac problems. He's got kidney problems. He's on dialysis every day. I mean, he's running out of time, so he's trying to hit as many booties as he can. You won't be hitting mine. Okay, pervert. So yeah, some people have a past that is not good. So not only, and I thought about this today, and I've thought about it before. Not only was I targeted, but I was a kid and had no one to turn to. No adult, preferably a mother, to sit me down and hug me and say, let's pretend this is me. I used my nightgown. This sucker is so warm, it really is. And snow is coming this week and it's going to be a doozy, okay? So I'm going to pretend this is me. I had nobody, but nobody, to say, come here. Come here. It's all right. It's all right. It's not your fault. If you need to cry, that's okay. Come here. It's all right. It's all right. It's not your fault. It is not your fault. Do you understand that? It is not your fault. It's not. Some guys are just predators. Some guys have zero control. They weren't raised right. They weren't taught to respect other people. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with what you were wearing. It ain't got nothing to do with any of that. They are sick. Okay? That's a lot more about them than it is about you. I never had that, and I never would have that. You must be crazy. I was born in a hellhole, raised in a hellhole. So if I were to ever come clean about what I went through, I would have I would have had zero support through that. Zero support through that. And I would have been blamed for it. Do you know how painful that is to have to deal with a grown-up situation and I'm a kid? You can't even merge those two. You can't merge those two. I'm not a miniature adult. I'm a child. And I had to deal with it by myself. So that compounded it. And that was a guarantee for PTSD, not just because I went through it, but because there was no support through it. And there never would have been support through that. Because she's a crazy bitch, the mother. So she would have said, and he was a whore. The father was a whore. He was poking everything, and he don't see nothing wrong with running around with your wang hanging out. He don't see nothing wrong with that, because he done that his whole life. So he's not the one you would want support from, because he's a whore himself. So she would have said, like I said before in other videos, ain't nobody gonna try to do nothing like that to you. You must have did something to antagonize it. What did you say to him? Were you flirting with him? Were you talking to him? The 2 situations, I never had conversation with either one of them. So there goes that whole, well, what did you say to him? Were you smiling at him? Don't you think that was perceived as flirting? Our society, especially in certain cultures, certain ethnicities, they are notorious for victim blaming. Notorious for that stupid shit. There was a girl that She used to be a dancer, exotic dancer, and but she was putting her life, getting her life on track. And she was unalived by her boyfriend. And it was bad. It was brutal. Do you know how many people of color in the comments were blaming her? Well, she was an exotic dancer. She was a stripper. What did she expect? What the fuck does that have to do with the price of tea in China? She deserved to lose her life? And I said to a couple of people, which is brutal, but I don't care because you're being brutal, so I could be brutal too. I said, wait till it's your turn. Wait till karma comes knocking on your door. I hope you have the same cynical mentality. Okay? Someone I know who's a pastor said, he's from Chicago. I gotta go. He's from Chicago, and a girl had gotten attacked in the stairwell of the project. You know how many people disconnected from it and said, oh, well, she shouldn't have been there. Right, because society blames women on everything. If they get attacked, it's her fault. If she gets raped, it's her fault. What were you wearing? What did you say to him? Did you give him your phone number? Did you ever go on a date with him? Did you da-da-da-da-da? We don't never train men to have respect. No, because that would be too logical. We shouldn't do that. We should attack women. What were you wearing? Show me how you walked. Did you say anything to him? They always blame the freaking woman. Then you wonder why women don't come forward and say anything, because she's going to get raped all over again. Whew, I need to pull it together. That's why they don't file charges. That's why they don't put it in court, because they do not want to be chewed up and spit out. Again, she's going to be assaulted for being assaulted. We have got to do better. We have got to have empathy, not narcissists, because they're dead inside. They're rotting corpses walking around. They stink too. They just stink like deadly flesh that's rotting, falling off the bone, black and destroyed. They're useless. Normal people need to start having some compassion, because you ain't no different, and you could be assaulted too. I don't care if you're a big burly man and you got muscles and you're strong. You could be attacked too. Women have done it to men. You're not exempt. Nobody's exempt. If you've got body parts, you can be violated. If you have a body at all, you can be violated. So don't ever get too cocky and too full of yourself. Tyler Perry was assaulted by a man when he was a child. He was attacked. And I'm talking penetration. I don't have to draw you a picture. Anybody can be, nobody's exempt. So I don't want nobody being cocky and doing that typical bullshit. Oh, well, they shouldn't have been there, or they shouldn't have dressed like that, or she put herself in that situation, or she had too much to drink. Yeah, let's attack the woman. Let's keep giving men free passes. That's a good fucking deal. Good idea. Women, please, for the love of God and everything holy, raise your sons to respect other people, because there will be a point in time when his hormones are going to block his common sense. And if he feels that somebody's teasing me, or she wore that cute skirt because she knows I like her and she don't want to give it willingly, so I'll just slip something in her drink and I'll take it. You got to teach them to respect when they're little. So when they get older, they can be decent men and not let anything block their common sense. Even if a woman is trying to hit on him and he's not ready for it. He could easily tell her, babe, you're sexy, you're beautiful, but I really want to get to know you first. There ain't nothing wrong with that. And stop it. We got to stop attacking women for being attacked. That's just asinine. That's completely asinine. We don't discipline the boys at all. We might as well just throw them a party for doing it, because they're not taught shit. For people who have taught their boys, their children, to have respect for other people, kudos to you. You need to clone yourself, because there's not enough of y'all running around. If you taught your children to respect other people from a young age, I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But that's not a common thing. So she's been attacked. And she gets attacked in society too. She can't press charges because she's going to be chewed up and spit out, like I said. Her friends and family, the same thing. One more thing. There was a lady, this is a Black community, typical. The girl was being assaulted by her father for years. Everybody quit talking to her. They gave him a free pass because he says he has a penis, so he can't control himself, and it's okay. Obviously. She's the one that's having sex with her father. There's a difference between willingly and being assaulted. You don't know the difference. So they targeted her. Nobody targeted him. Why do men get a free pass? Why does something swinging between their legs give them so much power that they could do whatever they want to do with no repercussions? People look at her, the victim, like, well, she must have did something to encourage it because he was just walking by minding his own business. Yeah, right. Let's live in fantasy world and let's go ahead and think that cupcakes grow on trees and raindrops are Skittles. If we're going to go dumb, let's go all the way dumb. Let's not have a stopping point. Anyway, I'm going to let y'all go. I love y'all. Be safe. Control your tell your children, please raise them from when they're little to have respect for other people. And we can significantly reduce this type of crap, people getting permanently injured psychologically behind horrible behavior that's preventable. Let's teach them from a young age. And teach your girls the same thing. No, you're not going to dress with your body parts hanging out. You're 15 years old. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Dress like a lady. Whew, I'm getting hot and bothered. Anyway, I love you guys. Take care. And I'll talk to you next time.